Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. We're coming to you from our studio on Veterans Memorial Boulevard, right next to my guy, Matt Bowers, Ford dealership. He has dealerships all over the region, so if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned car, make sure you check him out at one of his many locations. Great customer care, great prices, the best car buying experience that you will ever have. If you are not signed up to NewOrleans.Football, make sure you take care of that today. Use the code NOF, save 20% on your first payment. There will be no overtime on this episode because we work double time to record these for you guys, but we're out on vacation before training camp. So just make sure you're supporting the site. If you are not already doing that, get locked in. Practice reports for training camp are coming. You're going to want to have all of those. We're going to do a draft from the eras that we covered this team, 2014 on, to make up the best 22-player roster, offense and defense that we can make. Going back and forth, we're going to walk down memory lane in that one. And we are going to get right to that trail right after this quick word from our sponsors. The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Time for a new watch? Go check out Friend & Company Fine Jewelers' wide array of Breitling watches at their showroom on Maple Street. They have every type of watch that you want, and they can get you right for any type of occasion. And while you're there, check out their engagement salon. They'll make sure you find the perfect ring for that special someone. Their experienced staff offer 5-star customer care to help you find the perfect watch, ring, or whatever else you're looking to buy. Visit them today. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, 7713 Maple Street between Adams and Burdett, 504-866-5433. Or visit them at friendandcompany.com. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. Their agents are born and raised in the area and understand our community's unique needs and the homeowners insurance crisis our residents are currently in. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. They know your time is valuable, which is why they work diligently to provide you with the quotes as soon as possible. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. When we couldn't find someone to insure our house because of the big oak tree growing over top, Chabert worked until they found someone that would work with us and give us the protection that we need to feel safe in our new home. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. All right, let's get into the show. I'm Nick Underhill here with Mike Triplett and Brandon Thomas, and it is now time for the lead presented by Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers are the official jewelers of the New Orleans Saints, so make sure you go check them out on Maple Street. If you're in the market for a new watch, they have a beautiful wide array of Breitling watches. You see them on the screen right now. Just a few of the options that you can get. They'll get you looking right for any occasion, casual, classy, whatever you need. They got the watch for you. And while you're there, check out their engagement salon. Get your special lady that special ring and get your love story started with Friend & Company Fine Jewelers.
Lead topic. Nick versus Trip.
Let's do it.
Drafting the best Saints players from the past 10 years. We got an anniversary coming up. Special day, special time. Nick started covering the Saints and changing the game about 10 years ago. So we decided to commemorate it with a fun way to look back at the last decade of Nick and Mike both covering the team together. They're going to take turns drafting the best roster they can from the past 10 years. But let's lay down a few rules. It's 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense. You have to draft 2 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, a tackle, a guard, a center, another tackling guard, 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles, 2 linebackers, 2 cornerbacks, 2 safeties. You get 1 flex position on offense and 1 flex position on defense. And we're making a special rule for Drew Brees to keep either team from getting too lopsided. You can either draft Brees from 14 to 16 when he still had a big arm and routinely threw for over 5,000 yards, or you can get late career Brees from 17 to 20. So,
All right,
let's get it on and popping.
Happy anniversary, Nick.
Yeah.
10 years. Damn.
10 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, getting old. Getting old.
Better to join you than to compete against you, I'll tell you that. All right, who gets first pick? Your anniversary, you get to decide.
Go ahead. You go first, yeah.
All right. You beat me in trivia the other day. So I came prepared. I'm going to win this thing.
All right.
I'm going. I think there's a first pick, but I think there's also a second pick, a third pick. I'm going the place with, I think, the biggest drop-off between the top guy and the second guy. Teron Armstead's my left tackle.
Good pick.
I mean,
Good pick.
he might be the number one pick anyway. Drew Brees would be if there was just one Drew Brees. Teron might be the best player that we've covered in the last 10 years, period. The drop-off from Teron to the second-best left tackle, no question. I think this is a fairly easy choice, no?
No, it's a good choice. You
get two picks.
Yeah, for my first of the two, like I could just play this and let it fall and take whoever, but I think there's a clear answer here, and just out of respect for the level of talent, and it's probably lacking strategy in this exercise, but I got to take the better version of Brees, the 14 to 16 version. I feel like you just put a little bit around him, like you have a chance of winning a Super Bowl, and I feel like the later version of Drew was really good, but he needed people to kind of have the motor going a little bit. Like, I don't think he was carrying a team by himself. That 14-15 version especially, I think still could have did that. So I got to take Drew here.
I guess if you're into 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns every year, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. For the purpose of this, I probably should let it go. But, like, I just feel like a version of Drew kind of has to go first for me on my team. And then I pair that version with possibly the best offensive weapon this team has ever had, Mike Thomas, and I feel like I don't need a left tackle. Like, Drew could just throw pop passes over to Mike if pressure's coming, and if we block good enough, Drew's going to throw the ball down the field. So coming out of here, I mean, if I can cobble together a good offensive line from here, I kind of like my chances because I'm going to score 30 points every game.
All right. So your top picks are in. Let's move on to the next set presented by Shawberry Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Let's roll through it. Where you at, Mike?
First of all, strategy-wise, I was going to wait on Brees. I'll talk about my Brees later because I get to wait on him now. That's interesting that you were so high on him because I actually did. I was like so happy to take either Brees that I hadn't even thought for sure how much higher I am on that one. But I mean, if 2011 was part of the mix, I would have been no doubt. I mean, that might be the best quarterback season anyone's ever had. But
I think the 14 and 15 and even 16, like 16, there started to be some visible fading a little bit, and I feel like they got ahead of it. But I think that 14 and 15 version, I mean, I think there was a absolute miscarriage.
I think we forget.
I mean, there was an absolute injustice done to that man with the teams that were kind of put around him. I mean, that was the quarterback you want and you dream about, and it's just everybody thinks you get the quarterback and everything falls into place. And man, that 15 team was terrible on the defensive side. Like, the rosters were terrible.
So you don't think we're going to end up with a lot of those guys in this draft?
No, I mean, but look, there was the that elite Mahomes, Josh Allen type level where you just see those guys on a team and you feel like they got a chance. Yeah. And Drew was at that level, but just they completely failed to put a team around them.
All right. Well, I ended up with my top two picks. When we first conceived of this, I thought Michael Thomas might be the number one pick. But when I actually mapped it out and I was like, all right, who am I going to be left with if I don't take – I thought Teron and I thought one other guy. There's just a big drop-off at the position. The other one's DeMario Davis for me.
Yeah.
We each have to take two linebackers. I got one of the 3 or 4 or 5 maybe best players on this team in the last 10 years, and he's way better than every other linebacker they've had.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Linebacker, I think, has historically been the worst position on the team. So yeah, I mean that's a good pick. It gets pretty thin after that. There really isn't even a headliner after that. I'm gonna just keep acquiring top tier talent here in I could veer a little bit towards gamesmanship, but I'm going to keep going with it. And I got to get Lattimore. I think he's far and away the best cornerback of this tenure.
No argument there.
And I think there's a pretty decent drop off after him too at that position. Not as steep as other positions, but I think there's a
Especially when
clear
we
number
need two
one.
each.
Yeah.
Especially when we need two each. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll go Cam Jordan, and it's kind of similar. There's enough defensive ends that I'll be happy with whatever defensive ends I end up with, but he's better than all of them. I mean, Cam Jordan, say what we will about, how his career is now. We're getting him from the last 10 years. He was one of the top 2 or 3 defensive players in the league over that time, or defensive ends in the league over that time. Just some elite seasons I'm getting from Cam Jordan. And now look, for the purposes of this draft, we can draft guys who just played 1 year on the team, and we're getting them how they were at that time. I don't know if we brought this up in the rules, but if we take someone like Marcus Colston or Pierre Thomas, we're not getting their whole careers. We're only getting their 2014 selves.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I get bonus points because Cam was elite for all 10 of these years versus someone like Michael Thomas.
He's a stronger pick. Yeah. I mean, there's ways that we can cheat this a little bit. And we'll talk about it later.
We're talking about their peak. We're talking about their peak, but still, I'm very happy with this pick.
It's too bad we can only play guys where they lined up for the Saints, because Ramczyk was a left tackle and they drafted him, and he would be a great.
Did he ever
tackle.
play one game? If he
I don't want to
cameoed there once,
I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. But I'm taking Ramczyk here. He'll be my right tackle. In reality, if we were really building the team, I would flip him to the left side and let him play there. But I got to get good blocking here, because part of my strategy with this team that I'm assembling is that it's going bombs away. So I gotta have the strong bookend on one side.
Yeah, look, there were 2 elite tackles. I took Toronto with the first pick.
Yeah.
If I ended up with Toronto and Ramczyk, it'd be game over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's a top 8 in this draft. So I ended up with a good pick because Alvin Kamara's pick number 8 for me. I don't like that I drafted a linebacker and a running back. That's not how I would build my NFL team, but I do like that I have Demario Davis and Alvin Kamara. I think from this point on, I think we just drafted 8 first ballot Saints Hall of Famers with our first 8 picks. And now it drops off a little and it gets a little more creative thinking or whatever. But Alvin's the last of the elite.
I'm going to take Marcus Williams here, and I feel good about it. I feel good about it. Going to take away the deep part of the field, can play single high the whole time, opens up our options defensively. It's a shame the Minnesota thing happened, because he really was one of the best players of that era, and he just never really got. I think by the end he was getting appreciated the way he should have, but I don't feel like he ever really got appreciated the way he should have been. I mean, that was one of the better draft picks in team history, and I feel like even now looking back, like his name doesn't get mentioned enough. Well,
he didn't have stats. Instead, he was a stat eraser. Yeah. But the entire era Marcus Williams was here, the Saints were like the top 3 scoring defense in the NFL. They got Dennis Allen a head coaching job. They stopped giving up big plays. They won games. They won 13 games like 3 times. And a lot of that was because he was just making sure they weren't getting beat. All that stuff you were saying about Breeze in 14, 15, 16, that it was malpractice because they couldn't stop anyone. They were stopping people when Marcus Williams was in the back. But it didn't show up in interceptions. It didn't show up in Pro Bowls, but no question. Next, I'm going to go, you got Mike Thomas. I feel like I could have waited and just taken receivers with the last couple picks. And been okay with it because there's a lot of good receivers to choose from. But I think Olave's a tier above. He's not Mike Thomas good, but he's still a number 1. So I got a number 1 receiver here.
Yeah, he's a tier. And look, I'm going to back this, come right behind you and take Cooks because I don't want to lose them.
They're pretty close.
Yeah, well, Olave would have been my pick here. Just I want to be able to go deep and do stuff, and I feel like he has really good deep ability. Cooks might have been a better pure deep threat. I mean, the craziest thing they did is they brought in Who Man and they started using this 13 personnel, and it was just like the biggest cheat code in the world. Like they would run out of it like 2 or 3 times. As soon as the safety would cheat up, Brandon Cooks would run deep, and it just like happened automatically over and over and over. I mean, him and Drew were a great combination then, and I feel like part of the reason that Cooks ended up getting ushered out is because there was that deterioration in arm strength, and it couldn't be taken advantage of in the right way. It led to frustration with Cooks, and that's kind of why he went. But he was a good player for this team, and you give Drew this version of Cooks, like that's a nice deep option.
That was smart too. That's like a fantasy draft where like I was the first one and you know, like those two are pretty close to each other. It's like you had to go first, but the guy who got second had to go right behind him. I got a couple on the board here. Since you took Marcus Williams, I'm going to take the only other number one safety on here, I think, and take Tyron.
It's a good pick.
We're getting just Tyron with the Saints. I'm not getting Kansas City Tyron and Arizona Tyron, but I
Saints Tyron is good,
like
man.
him.
Saints Tyron he's been great.
Yeah.
He's been a great player for them. Yeah, I mean, he really has. There's a lot of turnovers. You know, one of the ideas with moving on from Marcus Williams was to get more dynamic in safety, and I think they've actually accomplished that, like quietly. Like he's a good turnover player. Like he's good in the he's good in the box. They're playing a little bit differently.
I like him in my locker room. I like him as a leader. I'm probably giving him too much credit for that because I just now am regretting who I didn't take, and I hope you don't take him from me. But I got Tyron and DeMario running my team, man.
I'm gonna stick with my blocking, and I'm taking Jari Evans. I got to get strong all the way around.
Yeah.
Drew needs a pocket to step up into.
Which Jari are you getting here? Let's see. I think you're getting 3 years of Jari.
Yeah, Jari was still good.
He still went
he was still good. Yeah.
So you got him 14, 15, and 16. The 14 Jari alone started 16 games, went to his last Pro Bowl. He was still excellent.
I think he was far and away the best guard that this team had it, at least at that position. So I'm taking Jari there. Like blocking and protection is such a massive thing for my team strategy here.
If we went back to like 09, 06,
first pick,
Jari could have been the first overall pick.
Yeah.
Me and Kevin did a members only draft last year where we went through and we did it in an interesting way, but it was if you could take one player from the past and put him on this current Saints team. And I think, well, funny enough, I'll make my next pick in a second here. He might have picked Tehran and I might have picked Jari because the offensive line needed so much help. And the other contender was Jimmy Graham. I'm getting just 1 year of Jimmy Graham here.
2.
Am I getting 2?
So you get 6 catches last year.
No, Jimmy. Oh. Oh, man. How did I forget? I am getting 2 years of Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham caught how many TDs in those 6 catches last year? 4 TDs and 6 catches last year. Wow. All right. Now I feel even better about this pick. Jimmy Graham's last year with the Saints was right after he signed that contract. Played all 16 games, 85 catches, 889 yards, and 10 touchdowns before they traded him to Seattle. 85, 889, 10. How much would you like that from your tight end position this year?
No, it's an oversight. It's an oversight that he lasted this long. It shouldn't have happened.
I think
we both
I was
kind of
thinking
forgot.
he faded at the end of his time with the Saints, but that was still an excellent season.
I kind of forget that he was even here. Like honestly, like it was that first year.
Yeah, I should have taken him sooner. I should have taken him before I took Olave and Tyron. I got away with one there.
I guess I'm taking Andrew Speed after Jimmy Graham.
Hey, mine's a 3rd round pick. Yours is a 1st round pick.
Yeah, sure. I feel great about that. I don't know where I'm going to slot him yet. I could go left guard or left tackle. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm going to keep
versatility is helping your team.
I'm going to keep blocking.
The Saints.
I'm going to keep blocking.
All right, I feel good about stealing Jimmy Graham there. It just got tougher. Just you illustrated that with your last pick. I'll take. There are some corners on this list that if we could replicate their peak season, they're elite. But we just know that they didn't ever replicate it. So I guess I'll take Paulson Adebo instead.
All right. You got to get one.
I need corners, and if I wait too long, I'm just settling for what's left. I feel a little better about Paulson than I do about some of the one-year wonders on the list. So I'm taking Paulson Adebo.
I'll take. I'm going to take Rashid Shaheed here. My strategy is just to.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, my strategy is just to score an incredible amount of points. I got Cooks going deep. I got Shaheed going deep.
And
I got
Big Arm Breeze. That's why you drafted Big Arm Breeze.
I got
set
Big
up
Arm
the
Breeze.
whole thing.
I got Big Arm Breeze. I got my 2 torpedoes, and then I got Mike underneath open every single play. Like you cannot cover this
Do you make
team.
these picks if you have late career Breeze?
No, I don't. No, but if I got Cooks and Shaheed going deep, I'm digging out both the safeties, and I got Mike Thomas in space underneath.
Another
time.
rule
Like,
we discussed ahead of time.
You can't cover my team
Because we're not building special teams units in this draft. You're not getting the bonus of his kick return ability, but
I don't want it.
you don't even need it.
I don't want
Hey,
it.
now he can focus solely on
I don't want it.
offense.
No, I
Yeah.
want touchbacks so that we can go the full 80 because we're going to do it every single time down the field.
All right.
75?
Yeah, Pickens are getting a little slim. I'm taking an underachiever here. Did we just say someone else was kind of an underachiever? Drew Brees, your first pick of Drew Brees. I'm going to take Malcolm Jenkins here. I'm getting 20. I'm only getting when he came back to the Saints in 20 and 21. But I feel like he could be my nickel.
Okay.
He's my second safety right now next to Tyron. Either one could be my nickel. I'm getting some versatility here. I don't love this pick, but my second, you own me on the secondary. You took Marshawn and Marcus Williams. I'm trying to get the best second. I talked myself into Paulson Adebo and Malcolm Jenkins, but I can't just keep waiting on my secondary.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Tyron too.
I mean, look, you get both versions of Malcolm are good too. Like I think.
No, I don't get the old one. He left after the 13th season.
All right.
So I only get
you only get the late career.
late career Malcolm.
Okay. All right.
He had some savvy though.
He did. He
You've
was
got a lot
solid.
of veteran leadership. I've got like 18 captains on my team.
No, you're gonna have very mature conversations on the flight.
All right, back to you.
A lot of diversification.
A lot.
Yeah. And then they could talk to Cam about his NFTs. I'm taking Ben Grubbs.
Oh, man.
I'm taking Ben Grubbs.
You're having the offensive
Shout
line
out
issues
Ben
that I'm
Grubbs,
having in the
man.
secondary. You're trying to piece it together now.
I like Ben Grubbs here.
He used to live in St. Charles Parish, bro.
So you
Shout
just
out Ben
moved
Grubbs.
Andrews to left tackle.
Yeah, I got Andrews at left tackle. I like my line. I feel good about my line.
Grubbs lived in St. Charles Parish while playing for the Saints?
Yeah.
Look at that.
We have a very cohesive strategy here. We are eliminating deep balls. We are going deep, and we are blocking the hell out of everything.
Do I only have Toronto on the offensive line?
Like you are not going to be able to catch up on my team. Like that's our strategy here. We got Lattimore. We
Wait a
got
minute.
Williams.
I drafted Tehran and then let you draft the next 4 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Got some work to do.
You're not going to be able to you're not going to be
Tehran's
able to sack us, and you're not going to be able to catch up if we get a lead.
See, in the intro, we said changing the game.
I still like I got Tehran. I got
Kyle's
the best
going
left
for the
tackle.
fence.
You got Andrews playing left tackle. All right. I will go with a position we haven't touched yet, right? I'm going to take the best defensive tackle on the board, David Onyemata. Speaking of underrated guys, when he was at his best, he was a big asset against the run and a big asset against the pass. I got the best defensive tackle at pick 20.
All right. I'm going to do
Do you disagree that I took the best defensive tackle?
No, I think you probably did. That's not like a very
Sexy pick?
no, I mean that's not a very like high bar
It's
like
not.
position for this team. Like they just weren't great at that spot for a long time. Like Akeem Hicks ended up being great, but he wasn't
Not while he was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean there's Onyemata, and then I feel like there's a tier of players that kind of just hung out together in that middle pack.
Just
and
to
you
specify
broke
that,
out.
Akeem Hicks, his best year with the Saints was 2013. And I remember this because you came and started covering the team in 14. They traded him in 15. And you didn't have a very high opinion on him. Obviously came in doing film studies right away, and you were not seeing where the hype came from. I think in 13, the year before you started covering the team, I think Hicks felt like a superstar waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And then he really
Yeah, I
dropped
didn't
off,
like him.
and then he became a superstar.
Yeah,
for
I didn't
other
like him.
teams.
I didn't like him. But yeah, I mean, obviously there was his season, and then
So
what
if
I saw-
13 counted, maybe he would be here, but just
Yeah.
the 14 and 15 version was not that special.
I'm gonna do something controversial here. I'm taking Junior Galette.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
It's a lot of sacks, man. The man was good on the field.
Okay,
I
but
mean, there was
only-
a reason he got a contract. Like he was playing well.
But you're only getting 1 year of him too now.
But that
His
one,
best year was 13. You're only getting the 14 season. He had 10 sacks, and I think he got like 3 of them trying to get a contract clause to kick in by freelancing at the end of the season.
he got 10 sacks. So man, I'm taking a 10 sack guy.
You just got a
yeah.
10 sack guy.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I like That's my favorite pick you've made this year because I have 3 defensive ends I like better than that still left on the board.
I'm happy with him.
All right. I'm not saying his entire tenure with the Saints. 2013 junior was exceptional, I think. You're just getting 2014 junior. All right.
He was getting 14, man.
All right.
10 sacks is 10 sacks.
All right.
Not a lot of guys get 10 sacks.
Can't argue with it. Shout out the Saints to take it now.
All right. I'm going to go with a guy who doesn't have even 1 career sack now. I think that's the one shortcoming of Pete Werner's game is where Junior made a splash. Junior made a difference. Pete has like 1 interception and 1 half sack. But I'm looking at the linebackers still on the board, and I think
I
think there's a big drop off after Pete Werner.
I'm going to have no linebackers on my team, but that's fine.
What? I mean, when I'm looking at the pool, it's the thinnest. I got DeMario early, and now I'm drafting Pete Werner in the first half of this draft.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who you're going to take for your 2 linebackers. This is quietly been
I know one I'm taking.
difficult
I know
position.
one I'm taking, but we'll get to him. We'll get to him. We'll get to him. Yeah.
I don't think we
Real
realized that
slim.
linebacker's been that thin for this team for a decade.
Yeah.
Mario amassed a lot.
I'm going to draft some linebackers, and you will find out who they are after this quick break. Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana. They were founded in 1980 and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. And Total Maintenance wants to show some love to our NOF listeners. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. It will never increase. Total Maintenance has a tune-up special running this summer for $79, down from the normal price of $179. This is a one-time offer for 1 system only. They also offer a free diagnostic on second opinions on units deemed to be unrepairable, and they offer free estimates for replacements as well as commercial maintenance programs. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of stepping into your dream home. At Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, we can help make that dream a reality with a team dedicated to you. When you partner with Jefferson Financial, you do so for the life of the loan. Having a single point of contact when questions arise is invaluable. Our experts are here to guide you every step of the way. There's no better time to invest in your future. Apply online at jeffersonfinancial.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and much, much more. They are family owned and operated since 1946 and specialize in wine, spirits, gourmet food, gift baskets, catering, and tasting events. They have many locations, so they're never too far away. You can check them out in Metairie, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Baton Rouge, or if it's more convenient, you can always shop online. Whether you're a wine novice or a seasoned collector, you'll enjoy the Martin Wine and Spirit experience.
Welcome back to our studio on Veterans Memorial Boulevard. It is now time for our next segment presented by Hard High Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. So let's recap the draft so far. Nick, you went all in on offense.
Yeah.
And you have no linebackers.
No linebackers.
Mike, you have linebackers. So
I'm dominating linebackers.
you are dominating linebackers. So
I
let's
don't feel too thin anywhere.
You don't feel too thin anywhere?
I don't have a quarterback yet, but that's cheating. I'm going to win the draft because of that. That's a cheat code.
We shall see. Now, let's get back into it. Nick, it's your time.
All right, I'm going to keep going on my defense here, and I'm going to take Delvin Breaux. And
All right.
like I
He's
said,
on my list.
like I
Come
said,
on.
like you aren't going to be able to catch up on me. And I'm going to catch you. I'm going to get a lead, and you aren't going to be able to play catch up. I'm shutting everything down deep. You can pick and pop over the middle, but you aren't going to be able to score 35 points getting 4 yards at a time. So
We're putting
I like
two
my
good teams
my
together.
strategy here. And Breaux was fantastic. Until injuries and things kind of went sideways, but That's the biggest what if, I think, for me as far as covering this team is Delvin Breaux.
2016 was incredible. Or 2015 was incredible. 2016 only played 6 games, got hurt. What a flash. There's another guy that's on my list. I'll bring it up later because is that your first corner?
Second,
No, you
I got
have
Marshawn.
Marshawn now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We might go into the nickel. There's a couple corners that for a while had like their 1 year, but I went with Paulson Adebo earlier ahead of just that 1 year. All right, I just took Onyemata, who I think is the best defensive tackle from this stretch, but I'm going to take Sheldon Rankins next. I know I'm giving you a gift here because I know one that you love, but I thought for at least 1 year in particular, Sheldon Rankins played at a Pro Bowl level, and I think at other times he kind of flirted with it. I'd feel a lot better about the current Saints if they had prime Sheldon Rankins on it, but he never lived up to expectations. But I think he's better than being remembered as somebody who didn't live up to expectations. I like Sheldon a little bit.
I feel like Sheldon didn't live up to expectations. Like he was a top half of the draft pick who didn't get a second contract.
Right.
I feel like he didn't hit it.
No, I mean I have Onyemata picked ahead of him, who was drafted 3 rounds later. But looking at the defensive tackles who left, you're gonna get one guy who I know you really like. But
I'm gonna get the guy I want.
Super thin.
Yeah,
it gets super thin after that.
I'm gonna get the one that I would have taken over all of them.
Yeah. All right.
But
a little sneak preview. Now you can wait.
Yeah. No. But first, I'm taking Trey Hendrickson. And
all right.
I get 13.
He's one of the ones I would have taken ahead of Junior.
I get 13 and a half sacks here. I got bookends that are both going to have double-digit sack.
Silver chains.
Ability. Yeah. The silver chains, man. No, but it's kind of crazy that Trey had that season with the Saints and then he's not here. Like it's insane that there's a version of him that qualifies for this, that
13 sacks, right?
That feels like it might be the best pass rusher on the whole entire thing. I mean, it's kind of cheating because we know what happened after, but that single season was great. Like,
see, I like that single season better than the Junior season.
Oh, so do I. So do I. Yeah.
But the only reason I let you have Junior and Trey is I've still got I've got another defensive end spot, and I've still got 2 I can't decide between. So there's a little depth there.
Dude, I know one. I'm going to be interested. I know one.
All right. But now I'm very glad that this is still here. Anybody listening probably can't believe I haven't taken this player yet, and I blew it. This is kind of like when I forgot about Jimmy Graham earlier, when we forgot about Jimmy Graham. Taysom Hill's my flex. I get to run QB power with him and get 10. I'm going to give him his 100 carries every year. I don't even need the Ingram Kamara duo. I'm going to have a Taysom Hill Kamara duo, and I'm going to run that, and I'm going to get my 10 touchdowns and my 600 rushing yards from Taysom Hill every year. I'll even let him catch 10 to 12 passes.
You're coaching. You got different coaches.
Yes. when he's running for 7-8 yards a carry, I'm gonna go back to him later in the game.
All right. Interesting. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take my DT here, even though I could have waited and he's not going anywhere. But Nick Fairley, man, and you want to talk about what ifs? Let me take back the previous statement. Like Nick Fairley's
your what if.
Nick Fairley's the biggest what if in team history.
I couldn't take him from you even if I wanted to.
He had 6.5 sacks in 16 on a
really,
bad
really,
team
really good.
when they couldn't cover. I mean, he was on the verge, I think, of potentially becoming like a superstar type player. 6.5 on the interior is a huge number. Imagine what he would have did on a good team with good backs and other good pass rushers and not kind of just being, him and Cam and nobody else. Like him with actual good corners, man, like he really could have become something for this team, and he was on the verge of it. And, unfortunately the heart thing happened and that was the end of it. But he's kind of a forgotten player in team history, and he might be, for my money, he had the best single season of a DT my whole entire tenure here.
Yeah, I probably blew it by taking Sheldon Rankins. I should have made you take him higher, but I couldn't have taken away from you. Yeah, you were driving that train. You were correct on it. All right. Even though I really like my team, I am now dominating running backs, linebackers, and safeties, the 3 least valued positions in the NFL. But I'm taking my third safety in Von Bell. Von Bell is going to be back there with Tyron and Malcolm, and Tyron and Malcolm are going to man the nickel position for me with my 3 safety defense. But I feel good about it.
Yeah, no,
Von Bell's a talented player.
You got a good group. You got a good group back there. It's kind of a horse apiece, but I'm going to take the better one out of the 2. I'm taking Eric McCoy at center.
Yeah, is this the last position we've waited on and not drafted now?
I think so.
Because I think they're close to a tie.
Let me cap. Yeah,
I think I would have taken McCoy too, though.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna cap off my line here and just have the best possible line that I could have outside of left tackle, and I'm gonna take McCoy.
So I took Tehran with the first pick, and then you've now drafted 5 straight offensive linemen. I don't have a second offensive lineman, but that's mostly because I've been looking at all these places where I have tie.
Yeah.
And center is a place where I had a tie. And so now I think we're down to nothing but that was the last position where we both had a spot left. So now I'll give Drew Brees the respect he deserves. 2017 through 2020, Drew Brees. And I actually, depending on the team I'm building, it'd be nicer if I had Michael Thomas for this team, but I have Jimmy Graham. We've said this a number of times. I love late career Brees because he showed us how good he was at football by being like, yeah, I can't throw it down the field anymore, so I will just have the 3 highest completion percentages in NFL history, the 3 best passer ratings of my career. Instead of throwing like 19, 22 picks like I did earlier in my career, now I'm going to have 8, 5, 4, 6. Like, he just became just a master of efficiency.
Yeah.
I can win with either of these.
You can't really go wrong with either one.
I got Kamara too. He's thrown to Kamara, Jimmy
Yep.
Graham. I've got a good. We both have the right Drew Brees for our team builds.
Yeah. I'm gonna take. I'll go Mark Ingram. Feel good about the pick. I would have felt, good with him earlier.
Yeah.
But
I took Alvin.
Yep.
And you could wait on running back. I'll take same thing. Max Unger. He's the center we were talking about. I think I would have taken McCoy over Unger too, but I think McCoy probably just had his best season. I think Max Unger had at least one really elite. Did he go to the Pro Bowl twice? I think one year he really deserved it. Those 2 guys were close enough for me that I was going to let you make the first pick there.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with either one, honestly. I mean, Unger was so good that it almost made people believe that the Jimmy Graham trade wasn't that bad. It was terrible.
And I got them both. Look at this revisionist.
Yeah, I
history.
mean, like even there was a period where I was like believing it, and it's like, no, that was not a good trade.
If the first round pick had hit, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It did
but
not.
It did not hit.
Spoiler alert. Well, I was just about to say Stephon Anthony's not getting drafted.
You never know.
but Nick's got some choices to make.
You never know.
Executive decisions.
I'm going to take Ben Watson here. And I get the best version of Ben. Like 2015, Ben Watson was amazing. 825 yards. Ben Watson was awesome that season. So, I was feeling bad about you getting Jimmy earlier, and Jimmy's obviously a much better player. But like peak Watson is a good tight end. So I feel good about my tight end.
Would you have taken Taysom at tight end if I had left him on the board?
No, I'm taking peak Ben.
Ben.
Yeah. I want someone that can block and catch. So I need a little bit more of that out of that. So for the team that we're trying to build, I think Ben's a good fit.
All right. Another one that I would have been happy with either late career Jari or Cesar Ruiz as my right guard. I probably would have also gone Jari, but it was close enough that I let you make the first pick there. I'm taking Cesar Ruiz as my right guard.
I'll take a linebacker because I have to. I'll take Caden Ellis.
Ooh.
And he was looking good. Looking good dropping back that final year. You can rush. I actually kind of like the pick. He was looking like a viable weak side type player.
How far off from Pete Werner to Caden Ellis? Did I win that big or just small?
I feel like it's a good win. It's a good win, but that like the best version of Caden was really good. Like he really was kind of making a case when he was filling in that year, and he looked really good. But it was just such a small sample. But if we're taking the best version and extrapolating it, I don't feel like it's a massive loss, but it's a loss. Like I got the third best guy on the list.
I'm gonna keep filling out my offensive line with right tackle Zach Strief. Big drop off from Ramczyk to Strief, obviously, because Ramczyk was probably the best right tackle in the league at one point. But I'm perfectly happy to go into battle with Strief on my offensive line.
All right, so I'm going strategy here.
Okay.
We have to draft 2, but I'm gonna get somebody else on the field. We have to take 2 linebackers, but eventually I'm gonna try to get somebody else on the field. And I'm gonna recalibrate, and I'm really gonna probably just try to play one linebacker every single game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use safeties.
Dime defense.
I'm gonna play safeties in the box. So I'm gonna take the guy that I think would make the best transition from safety to linebacker. So he's really only playing downhill mostly for me and kind of dropping back into a shallow zone. And I thought he was really good at it in 14. I'm going to take Vaccaro here and
Kenny belongs on Team Nick.
And use him more as a linebacker type.
Right.
And he can cover the slot a little bit. So I'm going to play to his strengths just out of necessity to my team.
All right.
So I gotta go strategy here. I'm devaluing linebacker. I'm gonna probably take one with my last pick because I have to. But my intent is to try to get different players on the field.
Okay. All right. Well, we both need a nickel still. Or well, you need a nickel. But I've been waiting on my second corner. I know you're not going to take this guy, but this is similar to my Sheldon Rankins pick. I'm higher on Keenan Lewis. I think if you told me to decide between 2013 Keenan Lewis, who's not eligible for this team, and 2015 Delvin Breaux, I think I think Keenan was outstanding in 2013. I think he was just pretty good in 2014, but I'm okay with Keenan Lewis being my cornerback too. With Paulson Adebo on the other side. You definitely got me at that position though.
I'm going to stay with the strategy, man. I want guys that can play in the box and hide my linebacker issues / also cover the slot. And now I'm going to take the other version of this player, and really for doing this, like he probably ranks ahead of my last pick, but I put two of these guys on the field together, and I got Marcus Williams playing deep. I don't really need anybody back in space, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson could also play back in space a little bit as well. We saw some of that with the Lions, but I got those two guys on the field.
He slipped in this draft.
You don't know who's covering the slot. You don't know who's playing in the box. Like we can hide our intent for quite a while. Going to kind of get crazy and creative on defense. And like I said, I got Marcus back there erasing everything.
It's interesting. We both went with 3 safeties in our secondary.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't like
corners.
a great.
It shows you the depth of that position for this team.
P-Rob would have been probably the first pick if we took a corner to play in the slot.
P.J. Williams went undrafted. He's a versatile piece.
Yeah.
Ken Crawley. We need to get this draft deep enough. We need to take this draft deep enough that Ken Crawley belongs on. I'm giving you Ken Crawley on your bench. You're a Ken Crawley guy. He's going to go undrafted. All right. My second receiver spot I waited on because I still haven't decided. I'm between, and you're done there. You took 3 receivers early. I'm between late career Marcus Colston and Willie Snead. And Colston, I'm getting his last 2 years, one of which he caught 59 for 902 and 5, and then the last year was a little bit of a wash, 45 for 520. So late career Colston. Snead was very productive, working in the middle of the field. I've got Jimmy Graham. I've got Olave. I think I'm going to go Colston. It's close for me. I'm going to go Colston, though. I don't know if that's the right call. What do you think?
It's tough not to pick Colston because it's Colston.
I know.
Pop, small arm Drew. I might have taken Willie there, but I was a big Willie Snead guy. But like for that version of Drew,
I've got Alvin work in the middle of the field a little too.
You can scheme around it. I mean, it's just it just depends how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm asking Olave to do a lot down the field with Colston and Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the opposite of you. You have the downfield.
All right, keeping it rolling. Where are we at? I needed DT. Give me the best run stuffer that they had, Tyler Davison. I feel okay with that. I got enough off the edges. I got my interior rush. Let me get the true nose. And I need it because my linebackers are trash.
Easy choice over Malcolm Roach. I was trying to decide who would be the next.
Yeah, I like.
That's why I took Rankins early. I would have been happy with Fairley too, but I got Rankins and Onyemata. I didn't know who I was going to pick if I let it get down to this level. Tyler's not bad though. They could use him now.
Yeah.
Left guard, I like this guy, Senio Kelemete, and now I've got a backup at all 5 spots if if any of my other guys gets hurt. I'm happy to have Senio Kelemete.
Is he still in the league?
He was recently, but
no,
I don't think he was last year.
21 was his last year. Really? That was the last time he appeared in the game. Was 2021. I would have never guessed that.
He was an even better version of what James Hurst has been. I trusted him pretty much everywhere they put him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, so much of that is like Drew throwing the ball so quick. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
guys that I have a high
Yeah.
opinion of that I'm
Yeah.
just not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
true.
sure.
That's
But
true.
he was great on this team. Like,
Yeah.
he was great on this team, and Drew's your quarterback, so it works.
And I got late career Drew, who definitely did not get sacked.
No.
He just got rid of them all.
Your last pick.
Linebacker time, Nick.
Craig Robertson. Craig Robertson.
right.
I don't know. Could take
Over AJ Klein.
Yeah, I like Craig
Alex
more than AJ
Anzalone.
Klein. Alex was always hurt here.
Yeah.
Okay.
He kind of reached his peak in Detroit. Like, I feel like taking Alex would be kind of cheating a little bit. Like, Craig's fine. Craig's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Craig
Good
was more than
leadership.
fine for. I mean, he like was their starter
Yeah.
for 2 full years at
Mhm.
Mike.
Yeah.
You know, like, is he your Mike, not Caden? Caden
Oh
never
yeah,
really
yeah.
did
No,
it.
Craig's got to play the
All right,
middle.
you got a
Craig's
leader
got to
now.
play the middle.
All right, I saved the most controversial pick for last.
Mr. Irrelevant.
He's not Mr. Irrelevant. I would have taken him a lot higher.
Mhm.
The 2 DEs I'm down to are Marcus Davenport and Carl Granderson.
Oh,
same
Carl.
2Ds.
Carl.
The same 2 defensive ends the Saints were down to late in Davenport's
You would have
tenure
taken
here.
Carl over Trey? Or Junior?
I would have taken them all over Junior. I would have taken Trey Hendrickson, Carl Granderson, Mark. I had 4 defense. I had Cam, and then I had like a 3-way tie between Trey Hendrickson, Marcus Davenport, Carl Granderson, and I had Galetta notch below. But I'll take Marcus Davenport. At his peak, I mean, remember very famously, Dennis Allen inadvertently called him the best defensive player on our team once. And that's what he was at his peak.
He was.
Granderson was maybe the second best player on their defense last year, but that was a little more by default. Davenport was that for a top 3 defense when he was at his best. So it's a good Mr. Irrelevant pick.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the final rosters and see who won.
All right. Breeze. We both have Breezes. Kamara, Olave, Colston, Graham. My names look a lot better, but I admittedly am having a Graham and a Colston that aren't.
Yeah.
Tehran. I like having Tehran. Then I took second choices everywhere else. I got Cam Jordan, the best defensive lineman either one of us took. I got DeMario, the best linebacker either one of us took. You got the better secondary because of Marshawn. We're both going to have pretty good teams.
Mhm.
I mean, I think getting Drew Brees with pick 30
I'm not
helps
gonna,
me.
I think my offense is way better than your offense. I think my offense is way better than your offense.
I mean, I got
Hold
Alvin
on,
instead
go
of
back.
Ingram.
You go back once.
I got Alvin instead of Ingram. That's a huge win. I got Jimmy Graham instead of Ben Watson. That's a win.
Yeah, but I'm not running the ball. Like, I like my team for my strategy. I think
All right.
I think my
You got
offense
flyers.
is
And I
way
got
more.
Tehran. I got by far the best offensive line.
You did, but
All right.
the rest of my line is smoking your line.
All right. So that's fair. You can win on offense, but you're not blowing me away on offense. And
That's
I got
bad.
Cam Jordan and DeMario. I think
my secondary is way better.
your
than
secondary
yours.
is better than mine for sure. Well, Marshawn is way better than me.
I feel like our pass rushers are a wash. I feel like they're about even. You're definitely better up the middle though. At
Oh, no.
linebacker.
Your pass rushers aren't a wash. Elite Cam Jordan versus
Trey had 13.5 sacks.
once.
But that's all it is. That's
Cam
all
was,
it is.
Cam was first team All Pro.
Trey at his peak is on a par with everybody here.
All right.
I don't think there's a
Trey
huge gap.
and Junior are doing a lot of heavy lifting for you there, but that's all right. That's all right. Well, then I get peak Marcus Davenport too.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
9 sacks.
Let's go.
Your linebackers are hurting though.
No, they definitely are. We're very weak in the middle. Like, we got to scheme around it. Yeah, I mean, I think I feel better about my offense. I think you got the better defense. I got the better secondary. You got the better left tackle and running back.
Tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get the people in the chat. Me and Brandon will review this when we come back and dive
You're the
into
arbiter, man.
comments.
Who's
No
winning?
arbiter.
Which
Did you
team's
like-
winning this
Hey
game?
man, you spamming that go route, you're spamming it,
Yeah, I mean, but
and
really,
it's getting you a lot of points.
it is.
So,
And he don't have safeties that can cover.
oh
deep.
no, I know.
Oh, we're playing against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like a Madden Super Sim. Just because you're firepower on offense, I give it to you.
Mm.
All right.
I give
Who
it to
you
you.
got?
I feel it. I feel like I ran
so we sit here
I
tied.
feel like I won only because I got Drew Brees with the 30th pick, and you had to get him with the second pick.
I wanted that.
That
Drew,
made
though.
a big.
I wanted that.
I know
Drew.
that made a
got
big
it.
difference, though. That allowed me to do some things. That allowed me to take DeMario early. That was a big swing pick. I'm happy with my team. I'll go to war with my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we just can't. We just gotta hope that you know you have a bad OC and you don't run up the middle ever. I mean, that's really it. Like
Fairly, Tyler Davis,
yeah,
and Caden Ellis, Craig Robertson.
if you ever get any interior blocking,
And your decision to solve that was to go with reliable tackler Kenny Vaccaro, cleaning everything up.
Hey man, we gotta get some big plays in the middle. We gotta cause some fumbles. Yeah.
Nothing but arm tackling. Well, that'll take. Oh, thank y'all for the draft.
If we get a lead, like you aren't coming back. But if you get a lead, we're probably screwed because you're just gonna run. You're gonna run on us. So like the very first drive of the game, I think is gonna determine what happens.
Yeah, give Alvin and me having Alvin and Taysom, and you having just Ingram. I got a big.
Yeah.
Big advantage. Oh, I am running Taysom at this defense
no.
all day
Hold
long.
up, though, like they never run Taysom up the middle though. So like you gotta you gotta get different coaches.
You try to stop my QB power.
You can't get
With Craig
Kubiak.
Robertson,
You can't get
Caden Ellis, and
You
Tyler
can't
Davidson.
get Kubiak yet.
No.
You can't get Kubiak yet.
Hey man,
Oh,
We should have
man.
draft coaching staff.
Oh man.
well, nah. 10 years, man. What are some of your thoughts, man? What is some as you reflect back? What do you think?
Man, I'm just thankful to be here.
Sure.
Change the game.
Just thankful to be
Change
here.
the game.
Yeah, just hopefully the next 10 are better than the last 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for the draft. Let's continue with our Martin's question of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. First question comes from Glenn Mercer. Would you rather have Derek Carr at $30 million per year or Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Dak, or Hurts at $50 million per year?
There's no bargains to be had at this position anywhere in the NFL. And he said 50. I mean, what was Trevor Lawrence? 55. Dak's going to be 55. Are Hurts and Tua going to flirt with 60? I mean, it's just going up and up and up.
Who's cap, though? Who's cap? You know what I mean? Who's cap?
No kidding.
Are we starting with the clean cap, or are we fitting this player?
But we
into the
know how
Saints
quickly
cap?
you can get into cap trouble by spending it. I mean, I feel like Dak is my favorite name on the list until I see his next contract. Then it won't be probably. What if Dak gets 60? And whose team?
Yeah, but like you know, what I mean?
You know?
like I'd rather deal with originals than
I think Derek
the
Carr's
47th.
contract has quickly become almost a bargain. He's making about 33 now. Look, they're going to have it goes up. It goes up if they keep him next year to 40, and if they keep him the year after that to 50, which that would get torn up and ripped apart. But as it currently stands, these first 2 years of his deal, they got him for like 33.3 per year over the first 2 years. I like that better than 55 for Trevor Lawrence. I like having a plan though. Some of these teams have. They know what they're building around.
Like off this list, like clean, just straight up clean cap, not all this stuff. Like I would rather have Hurts for sure. I mean, I will admittedly say I don't watch a ton of Jags games. My impression from the distance feels like Lawrence hasn't quite lived up to the billing that he's supposed to be in at that top tier level pay. But like again, I don't have a deep knowledge of Jacksonville football to where I'm willing to make like a nuanced stance and argue it to death against somebody that might have better insight into that. So I'll admit I don't know what I don't know there. I probably wouldn't want to pay $50 million to Tua or Dak, but if I had to pick out of one of those, like I would probably pay Dak before Tua. But I would definitely take Hurts. I would definitely take Hurts, and I would take Hurts in this situation too, trying to make it work, sacrificing other things. I would definitely take him in this one, but there's a lot to be said for $30 million and kind of not feeling great about your situation, and $50 million and not feeling great about your situation, and then feeling better about the $30 million because it's not 50.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the case for Derek Carr, but I think these guys making 55 makes you feel better about
no doubt
what you're
no
paying
doubt.
for.
It feels like he's a good value. Like it really does. It feels like it's a good
add
value.
Jared Goff in there. He's now 55.
Yeah.
And Cousins 45.
Yeah, and if they ever lose their
Where's the
OC,
bargain?
if they ever lose their
Yeah.
OC in Detroit, and I don't know if that guy's ever going to become a head coach, but if he does, like all of a sudden, like is he the same? Like is it the same?
Yeah.
Like maybe
You
there's
get-
a disciple that can take over in the building, but oftentimes there's a little bit of a change there. Like the thing that makes a guy special, or the things that make that guy special, and taking that coach out might affect it. So yeah, I mean absolutely. Obviously you'd rather have the quarterback that you feel like is 14-16 Breeze or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or someone that's like Lamar. Oh, that you can win a Super Bowl because he's on your team. CJ Stroud. But yeah, I mean, if you got to spend money, I'd rather spend less money on someone that isn't that. Well, you can win a Super Bowl because you got him type guy. And I don't know. I don't know what Hurts is. Like there was a moment where Hurts looked like someone that could be that, and there's moments where he hasn't, but I feel like he's closer to that than the rest of the guys on this list. But I would rather pay less than have someone that has me stuck kind of,
Yeah, it's a
than
really
Tua.
good question. The group of names in this question made it a really good question.
Yeah.
Let's stick with QB money. Cam Bowman asks, if the Saints win the division and make the playoffs, do you see a Derek Carr extension?
Well,
Not
here's
yet.
here not yet probably, but here's the rub. If Derek Carr plays well, then now there's no, hey, Derek, will you re-up at 30 again? I mean, it's already built into his contract. He is it's set to go up to 40 next year, and it's set to go up to 50 the year after that. Now, when he first signed it, it kind of felt like, well, they're going to tear that fourth year up and throw it away. But it's also his agent, Tim Younger, doing a good job of seeing the map in the future. Like, I'm not giving you a bargain in the future. If you guys want to if you are going to the playoffs and Derek Carr is working, you're going to have to pay the going rate, which will be 40 next year and 50 the next year.
Damn, that's kind of shrewd.
Yeah, I mean, like 50 felt like a fake number when they signed it, and already it doesn't feel like a fake number. That'll be the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league. So I don't know if extension is the right word, but the guaranteed money was mostly in the first 2 years. There's only 10 more million guaranteed in year 3. It's a pay-as-you-go contract, and I think they continue to pay it. I think they pay 40 the next year without question if they make the playoffs this year. And if they make the playoffs 2 years in a row, I think they probably pay the 50 the year after that and extend it to lock him up. So that's what's at stake with him showing success here for sure.
I got none of that. That's tremendous analysis on that. I hadn't thought about those last 2 years. Yeah, no, I mean, that's Mike nailed it.
Shout out to Mike. Well, that'll do
I
it for
won
this.
2 things today.
I'll give you the team, man. Like you got a better defense.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I feel like if I get a lead, there's no catching.
That's
up.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Once you get it on the board, that's it.
But like if he gets a lead, there's no way. Like he could just run me to death. Like and there's nothing I could do about it. And then I got 2 safeties that are probably pissed off because they're getting ran on and they can't stop nothing. Like. Yeah, I mean, it's just a situation.
You got a crash dummy on defense.
I mean, my free safety
flash.
might miss some tackles. So I mean, like if you get a lead,
You don't
and
have the best tackling team that's ever been put on.
No,
on a
so
football
so
field.
you could run me to. If you get a lead, I'm done. I think if either of us get a lead, like it's over. But like,
For sure.
yeah, there's no way I can't stop the run.
I
can't
have
stop
a
the
lead.
run.
I just handed it to Taysom 6 times and threw 3 passes to Jimmy Graham. We're up 7-0.
You gotta look. We gotta go with realistic coaching here, though, man. So you know what I mean? Like,
I ran Alvin Kamara up the middle 18 times in a row. All right. Behind
I love
Max
my
Unger,
offense. Though.
behind
I
Senio
love my
Clemente.
offense. I love my offense. We got a good strategy. Taking Mike away from that version of Drew really might hurt that Drew though. It really might hurt that Drew.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for this episode of NewOrleans.Football. We appreciate y'all for sticking around. We appreciate y'all for rocking with Nick for 10 plus years. You know what I mean? This happening. Hopefully 10 more years of NOF. Thank you. Catch you next
1,
time.
2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5.
You see it, dog.